a doctor of physical therapy, and I'm also someone who struggles with joint hypermobility and instability. Specifically, I have a condition called hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. This hypermobility can cause a host of other related issues like fatigue, anxiety, gut issues, bowel issues, migraines, you name it. I wanted to create these videos to share the tips, the tricks, the resources that have helped me get my life back over the years. These are not official medical or PT advice, so please always consult your local healthcare provider before making any changes. Thank you. Hi everyone, Kendall and Millie here. So in this series, I'm going over 5 sets of exercises that I think anyone with EDS, dysautonomia, hypermobility should try to keep in their life every day if you can. You're going to notice huge differences in how your body and hopefully your mind feel and how comfortable you feel in your own body. So this exercise is really a series of very short exercises. Truly, you don't need much of them every day for your nervous system to start learning and making a difference over time. So it's called vestibular exercises. Basically, your vestibular nervous system is the part of our nervous system that tells us where our body is at in space. If we don't correctly know where our body's at in space, let's say my neck is actually here, but something in my nervous system thinks it's over here, then my neck muscles aren't going to be able to move correctly or guard for that motion, keep everything in alignment, which can create that guarding and neck tension that seems chronic, potentially shoulder tension as well. For whatever reason, they found that people with hypermobility, EDS, have a greater likelihood of having poor proprioception, especially if it's not worked on. The good news is there's lots of people with EDS and hypermobility that are great athletes and have built that up. It just requires, unfortunately, keeping up the consistent exercises. Things that come easier for other people may not as much for us, but with the right tools, we can get there, and this doesn't take very long every day. So we have 3 balance systems that our body uses. We have our eyes. That literally tells me if I'm falling over or not. We have these little crystals in our inner ear that respond to gravity. It sounds weird, but basically if I move my head this way or if I accelerate a certain way, those crystals send signals to my nerves that tell my body it's doing that. And then we have what's called proprioception. So that's actually a little receptor in the muscle of my neck or my ankle that's telling my brain, hey, you've moved this far. All those 3 systems need to work together to create what we call balance and stability. That then will lead to not just balance and not falling over and maybe being a little less clumsy if you're clumsy like I am, but also less pain because you're not guarding as much. So again, simple exercises, hopefully big benefits. So what I recommend starting with is simple eye tracking. So you're going to have your finger here, move it right about to the edge of your vision. My head should not be turning. And then coming back in, hyper focusing on the details of my finger. What I've noticed with a lot of people is a lot of us have a little bit of a skip. And that little bit of a skip can cause that tension and guarding more than you realize. And this is the eye muscles that we're talking about right now. You'll also notice your neck might have a tendency to move with them because we have a hard time dissociating the eyes and the neck, which we want to work on. So basically, I started with horizontal, then I made a vertical cross, and now I'm doing some diagonal crosses. The diagonals are the hardest, so if you have a hard time with this, makes you dizzy, you're not seeing your finger clearly, then I recommend starting with just the horizontal. After a few days, go to the vertical and then the diagonal. So that's step 1. You should notice it gets a little bit easier. If you're someone who has a whole lot of neck and shoulder tension with that, you could have a caregiver or a friend help you out and track their finger. Worst case scenario, sometimes I use the windshield wipers in my car. That one works in a pinch. Okay, next exercise. Sometimes you'll hear this called vestibular ocular reflex training, but basically it's kind of the opposite. So you're gonna have a fixed object that you're looking at and your neck is turning. I want you to try to do a light chin tuck, like someone's pulling a string out of the top of your head. Only do this one if it's pain-free and you feel like you have neck stability to do it. If you're someone that struggles with craniocervical instability, please always check with your PT or your local provider or doctor before doing this. So like someone's pulling a string out of the top of your head, sitting up tall, have my finger out in front, And I'm just doing micro rotations, not to my end range, about 30 degrees of motion. In and out. Trying to build speed. A lot of times you may only be able to start like this, and you might start seeing double or starting to feel dizzy. As soon as you start to feel double, see dizzy, go ahead and stop, reset, shake it off, try again. Ideally, you want to get to where you're doing a total of about 30 seconds, but if you feel like this is flaring up your symptoms in any way, stop. You can push it to right before bed. That can help you to, when you sleep, your body does an extra good job of consolidating changes. Like if you practice a musical piece before you sleep, it's been shown that you'll hold all the changes and actually know it better by the time you wake up. So you can do that, plus your eyes then have a chance to rest. But either way, if this is flaring up your symptoms too much and making your life worse, not better, don't do them. There's plenty of other exercises you can do that will help. Once you get good at horizontal, or you're feeling pretty confident with that, you can add in vertical as well. Progressions to this, after several weeks when you're feeling more confident and you're only going to do 30 seconds each way, would be trying it in standing. Again, making sure you're not compensating with your shoulders. Try to stand tall with your core. You could even eventually try it on standing on a slightly unlevel surface if you're feeling really confident and you have someone watching you. The final exercise in this series is what I like to call tandem balance exercises. So tandem just refers to heel to toe, like this. I'll turn this way so you can see. So I'm trying to have my heel hit the big toe of the other leg. However, this is a pretty advanced progression. This is kind of the ultimate goal. So a lot of times people are starting maybe even just with their feet a little bit closer together. And then as you get slowly better, you're going to move your foot up. So now they're staggered, but they're not in this plane. They're like this, touching. And then eventually I'm bringing them here to where I'm heel to toe. At first, when I started this, I like to put myself in a corner because then you can have a little bit more feedback and security, and maybe have a bed or a couch in front of you, or just have a trusted caregiver that's sitting there watching the first few times you do this. Please do not push it. Your body learns perfectly well from a tiny bit of a challenge. So let's say I'm going to start here. You call this half tandem, where half of my feet are overlapping. So they look like this. And then I'm going to make sure my knees aren't locked. All of us like to lock our knees way too much, which is not muscular stability and it's not good for our knees over time. So cross your arms over your chest, and you're just going to turn your head a little bit each direction. At first, you may not be able to go very far, but eventually, if comfortable, I'd like you to go to your end range, not to any pain, and start working on doing it a little bit faster. I'm trying to keep my eyes open. A lot of times people will close their eyes for the whole middle and then open because their balance is not good. So what I do every day when I wake up, I go through this series. I do this for about 20 seconds. I'm at the point where I'm in full tandem. And then I will actually close my eyes. That's the second part, for about 20 seconds. Again, always have someone close to you that can catch you, that has their hands right on either side of your shoulders, or just make sure you feel super confident and comfortable and put yourself into a corner where you feel safe. About 20 seconds and done. So what a lot of people will notice is they feel a little bit more grounded, centered, hopefully a little bit less neck tension and pain with these exercises. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot them at me in the comments or ask your local PT. A lot of them will know these exercises and be able to help you out. Thanks.